And on one of the calls that I did, and it was last year during really the height of the pandemic, it was really disturbing to hear the stories that were coming from our advocates. And the stories about there was a young boy hiding behind the sofa making a phone call because there was abuse going on in the home. And again, so much of what happens in our homes when those schools are open, those children can communicate, whether it is abuse happening to them or to maybe their mother, a sibling, they can communicate that to someone at that school. And a lot of those children don't have that outlet right now. The women that are in those abusive situations don't have that outlet because they have been with their domestic partner away from work, away from maybe normal activities pre-COVID, where they would have someone to talk to or to reach out to, an avenue of escape. Now they're reliant upon calls to hotlines when that partner is not present. And then the response is very limited. So making sure that we are providing, again, as a federal government, providing grant opportunities for like the Iowa, the Coalition for Domestic Abuse, or for groups like Access and AIMS that focuses on sexual assault. Making sure that we are providing the resources necessary so that even those advocates that now maybe are not working in an office, but working out of their homes, making sure that they have the cell phones available to them, a laptop so they can connect to the internet, so they can still take calls and log responses, connect with resources available to those women, to those children. So it has been a very, very difficult year, and one that we may see repercussions for a very long time.
I can see that you feel this in your soul for wanting to help these people.
I do.
What is your message to these women who are struggling, to these women who feel like there might not be a way out?
Well, my message to the women that feel there may not be a way out is hang on. Hang on. Keep the faith, and that at some point we will be able to move around much easier in society. Iowa has done a good job opening back up. At some point we are going to be at a point where we are much more normalized across the spectrum, whether it's school or work or just social engagements. There is always hope out there. And guaranteed this is an area that I will continue to focus on. My staff and I in Washington, D.C. have already been discussing the avenue of making sure, one, that the resources are continually provided for those types of advocates, those types of agencies here in our home state of Iowa, but that we also get the Violence Against Women Act modernized, because we have seen areas, especially in our rural areas, where current language is not meeting the needs in the rural areas. We don't have shelters in the rural areas. We don't have safe spaces in some of the rural areas. So we need to make sure that any modifications we're making to the Violence Against Women Act is inclusive of even the most remote locations, so that somebody here in Taylor County would be able to access resources just as easily as someone located in Des Moines.